So, as you already said, I'm a pharmacist and an alumni of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, where I graduated with a bachelor's degree in pharmacy. I'm also a product of Holy Child School in Cape Coast. And I've also done short courses on sales and marketing because that's where my interest in pharmacy lies.
Right. Okay. I mean, okay, so where did the love or the desire for you to venture into some other business aside you being a pharmacist? When did it start?
Okay, that's an interesting one. It actually started during small get-togethers we had with friends. Okay. And anytime we had such get-togethers, I got my sister on board for us to prepare Tuozaafi for our friends during those gatherings. And in fact, the feedback we got from them was very positive, to the extent that some of my friends gave the recommendation of us commercializing it. Okay. But at that time, I didn't really take it seriously because I was into full-time employment. Yeah. I currently am still into full-time employment though. So I thought it would be such a difficult task to handle. Then later on, I decided to give it a thought. And so I started with weekend orders for programs like weddings, engagements, parties. Then along the line, I decided to go into researching a lot and then also doing proper planning. Okay. And once I got all those in place, I got together a solid team. And Muna Tuozaafi Catering came into full operation in April 2021.
Was the work as a pharmacist, was it that flexible that you could tell that, okay, you can apportion time for this business?
To be very frank with you, no. It's not that flexible. That was why initially I thought it would be very difficult and didn't even give any thought to it. Yes, but usually if you're able to apportion your time such that either before your working time or after your working time, you dedicate that time into it, it helps. And not just that alone, you also need a solid team. And I really have a solid team in my sister, my staff, and even in my husband as well. So it's really been very, very good for us.
Where's the name from the Muna?
So Muna is my mom's name. She's called Memuna. Okay. And we actually started in 2019 as Memuna Tuozaafi. Okay. And then we rebranded to Muna Tuozaafi.
But was it difficult for people to recall the name?
Yes, the previous name seemed longer. Yeah. Yes, so it was quite difficult. Yeah. And we actually had the idea of shortening it from our concept guy, who is very good. So he helped us. Initially, I was hesitant in changing the name, but with his convincing remarks here and there, I became more confident, and then that's how come we changed to the shorter version of Muna Tuozaafi. So
you wanting to, go into this side hustle, it's not necessarily for you to earn more income, but then you felt like, okay, it looks like this is something that you can do out of love for it that you had naturally.
Yes, so that is actually how it started, because of the love for it. So it wasn't necessarily
that maybe you're looking for more money. No. It wasn't like that.
No, yes, it wasn't like that. Yeah. Yes, in fact, what we also noticed was that we have people saying that I love TZ, I love TZ. But anytime they taste ours, they go like, oh my, yours is really delicious. Okay. And I was like, I spoke with my sister, I was like, why don't we continue with this and monetize it as another source of income?
Okay, let me come to Ernest. Why is it important to have a side hustle or another job aside the regular job you do?
Well, that's an interesting question. I think the economy globally has evolved. Is not as it used to be during the earlier stages of the Industrial Revolution. Most people are not working in factories right now. Yeah. So it's not a case that you have to, wake up early in the morning, put on some overalls, and then walk into one factory, and then you'll just be changing bottles every 10 or 15 seconds. Now we are essentially in an economy that is service-driven. Yeah. And most of the production activity has been outsourced to, automated processes. So in the service economy, it's about the value that you can produce maybe per hour or per day. So if you are a person with, who is very resourceful, or you have multiple skill sets. Of course, if the market is in demand for what you have to offer, why not? So as sorry, I missed your name.
Miriam.
Miriam. I almost call you Muna. Okay. So as Miriam explained, you know, trained as a pharmacist, but saw an opportunity, and as she was talking, you can also sense that she went into it not necessarily with the primary objective of making money in the early stages, but the passion, the love for it. And then she saw that, okay, there is a commercial opportunity to this, and she capitalized on it. So that's how it works. So far as the market responds favorably to the skill set or whatever you have to offer, why not? No, your skill set should not be constrained to one economic activity. It doesn't make sense actually in the present modern market. No, it doesn't.
Now, looking at someone who is you know, seeking to get a side hustle, aside whatever they might be doing professionally, listening to Miriam just did something she loved and then ended up commercializing it. But how can someone out there who hasn't yet necessarily been able to identify that, say that, okay, I think I can easily go into this direction when it comes to a side hustle? How can that person identify?
Okay, I think it starts with introspection. You first of all have to, you know, sit down, pick a pen and paper, and do an assessment. What am I capable of? What are the things that I love doing? What one or two or three things that I can really do that if the money doesn't come in like the first month, second month, third month, or even up to 6 months, I will still enjoy doing, you know? And so you write all of them down, and then you also have to be very realistic about yourself, because you've written all the exciting things that you love to do, but it doesn't match with your present skill set. So you have to audit your skill set. If you see that there are capacity issues, of course, there are several opportunities for you to build your capacity, workshops, YouTube videos, and even classes, online classes that you can take advantage of to build your skills. So once you are able to mark your skills to your interest or the things that you love doing, then you move to the next stage. That is, if you want to now make a business out of it or build a side hustle out of it, you have to first of all test, will the market respond positively to this? And in Miriam's story, you can see that she tried it with friends, of course. And the feedback was excellent. And she saw that, okay, then it means more people will enjoy what I'm doing. And then she move on to the next stage. But the mistake that most people do is that, okay, Miriam has started a Tuozaafi business. She's making money, so there's money there.
So let me also go into Tuozaafi.
But maybe you are not as excellent a cook as Miriam and the family is. And so you go and then do something terrible, and then the market punishes you for it.
Right.
They say people are bad.
Let me come to you, Miriam. Putting everything together, the plan for seriously commercializing this business, how long did it take you?
It took 2 solid years. Remember, I talked about research. So even though we were on and off in 2019, between 2019 and 2021, there was extensive research being done in terms of how to package the food, in terms of how to ensure that when it's even being delivered to the customer, it's intact, in terms of the fact that even the way the customer sees it online or in pictures, it appears the same way. It was extremely extensive, and so it took 2 years to give birth to that brand.
Looking at the package that we watched in the video, is that how you started packaging the foods?
No.
How did you start packaging it?
Yes, so as I mentioned earlier, we were just featuring in parties and gatherings, so it was more of a buffet setting.
Oh, okay.
But I noticed that, and it was an observation, anytime we went for a program, usually people rush to the rice dishes, and then we'll be sitting there idle, no one coming. And sometimes I just want the ground to open up and swallow me, because it was so embarrassing. So I kept thinking, how can we make our TZ such that when people attend programs and they hear there's Muna Tuozaafi, they do not hesitate, they just rush for it. So my husband and I started thinking, how can we do that? Because now we know that people package TZ or the local foods in poly bags and all. And you know, TZ is a food that's actually not appealing, it's not attractive. So you need to make it attractive for someone who has never tasted it, to even have that zeal to want to taste it.
Yeah.
Yes. So it was during that we started doing extensive research. I even reached out to vendors in Philippines because at that time we didn't have their craft bowls, and I saw bowls that they used rice to manufacture, and at certain temperatures, when you don't use it again, it dissolves, so it's environmentally friendly. Yeah, but it was very expensive.
Yeah.
So we had to continue doing those researches and all that, and that's what finally helped us to get the craft bowls and to also source from outside the boxes to ensure that everything was as a set package.
Okay, so before I come to Ernest, earlier you mentioned that it is important for you to have a solid team.
Yes.
Now, not only are you receiving monies from being a pharmacist, but you are paying others. You have people working for you that you're paying them. Now, how do you properly manage between a job that is paying you and a work or, you know, something that you are paying others? How do you manage both?
Yes, and I mean, that's a very important point you've made. Here, honesty usually plays a big role in all that you do. And so you should always make sure that whatever you are doing from your side job, side hustle, second job, it shouldn't eat into the time of your main job.
Okay.
So for example, today that I was here, I've actually gotten approval for today as a leave day for me.
Okay.
So today is not me officially working. Today is my personal day.
Okay.
And I'm here on that. And so it's like I said, that has always been an issue, and it's something that people should ensure that it doesn't affect their performance, it doesn't affect the time they work with. And I'm happy to say that 2 weeks ago, I had a performance review with my manager, and he was extremely impressed with my performance. So clearly, there's something I'm doing to balance it well.
Both.
Exactly.
Ernest, what would you say to that?
Team dynamics is very, very important in every business. I cannot emphasize that enough. And I think Miriam is lucky that from the beginning, you know, she started off with a great team. I think that is like 80% of your problem solved, because what that also means is that you can be working elsewhere, and you know that the people that you have assigned, you know, activities or work to, you know, you are 100% clear in your mind that they will deliver. So that is very, very important, because from experience, we've seen businesses and startups with potential, tremendous potential that have been destroyed, you know, due to, you know, team dysfunction. Yeah. And so, I mean, that's a big plus, and you shouldn't take that for granted at all.
Okay, what would you say, listening to how Miriam started, you've commended her, you know, marvelously, because I think you are impressed by how
Absolutely.
Yes, you're impressed by that. But in general, startups, young people that are starting up businesses, what do you think most of them end up doing wrongly that ends up affecting them in the long run?
I think the first one is most of them go into the market with a sense of idealism, just because they think that they are excited about a product or something that they've done. They expect the market to react to it the same way. Yeah, it doesn't work like that. I think in the market, the language that the market understands is whatever that you are doing, how best does that make my life better? Yeah, you know, and that's why you get paid. The market doesn't pay you to make you happy. So what you get in terms of money from the market is an appreciation for the value that you are contributing to the market. So that's the first thing. Don't be blinded by your self-idealism to think that because you like it, everybody else would. The second thing is, I spoke about it early on, is having a realistic picture about your present skills. It's very, very important. Is inspirational, is courageous to punch above your weight. But the thing is that if you keep punching above your weight, it's just a matter of time you'll be tired, but the weight will still be there. What really is important is building strong arms so that you can burst the weight that is above you. And that is how businesses operate to the market, because in the marketplace, the consumer is looking for the business that can best serve his or her interest. So you may be the person that they started with, but if they see another person that is better than you, they leave. It's not personal. It's strictly business. So I would say, like, these are the two things that people should have at the back of their minds. The market is not personal. The market rewards you for the value that you add to them. So at least this two should is fundamental to every business.
All right. Miriam, how much did you start with?
That would be a tough question because when we were cooking for small gatherings, most of them were from my personal funds. So I can't necessarily attach something to it. Okay. But maybe sometimes we prepared for about 20 people and the likes. I think at that time, I wouldn't be accurate, but it should be around 500 cedis or something like that.
Okay. Now, looking at how the packaging was from the beginning, and then how the packaging we saw in the video, is this the same packaging you're using currently?
Yes, it's the same packaging.
Haven't the current state of everything, you know, the way prices keep on going up and all, it has affected, you know, the price of these packaging as well?
Yes.
And has affected how much you are selling the food now, right?
To some extent, but not necessarily.
But not necessarily, meaning you are still maintaining the same price?
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
How much?
Yes, so we have a pack which can actually feed 2 people, which currently goes for 58 cedis. It comes with meat, intestines, fish, boiled egg, table mat, pre-packaged spoon with wipes, toffee, to ensure that your setting
table
is
mat.
Yes, table mat. Yes, to ensure that your setting is suitable and neat wherever you are, whether in your office, in your car, wherever.
Because when you take Tuozaafi, it can be quite clumsy.
Exactly.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay, so you said 58 cedis. That's for 2.
Yeah, it's for a pack which is actually enough for two people. Yes, and in fact, the current economic crisis is really affecting us, and we understand the plight of Ghanaians because most people are not having their salaries increased and all. So based on that emotional aspect of it, we haven't increased our prices because we know there are people who want to eat it but may not necessarily be able to afford it now. So we've maintained our prices for now.
Then it means you're not really making much?
Not at all.
You're not making at all?
We are not making at all for now.
You just keep on investing in it?
Exactly.
And even with the delivery service, I think I remember in the video that you slashed the price for the delivery service by half. So you're taking half the amount. So is that something that is still going on?
No. Okay. So that was last year when we were doing that. But now we take the full delivery fee. Oh,
you take the full delivery fee.
Yes.
You also mentioned on, you know, wanting to go international with it. How far?
Yes, the vision is still on.
Okay.
And I'm glad you took notice of that.
Tuozaafi to the world.
Exactly. Tuozaafi to the world. In fact, occasionally we do have people going abroad who request for it, and then we package it specially for them so that it gets there intact for them to enjoy it. But you know, for me, I like doing a lot of research. So currently I'm still in the research stages and the deliberation stages. We are coming up with a product for those abroad such that they'll have fresh and ready meals to eat. So the vision and the plan is still on. So
even after being on the flight for hours, it will still be intact?
Yes, the feedback we get from them. The feedback, not hot. Yes, not hot.
But still fresh.
Exactly.
The taste, so...
That's the feedback we get from them, because I haven't tried it, taken it outside to taste.
Which countries are these?
Okay, so we have the UK and some parts of Europe.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's very impressive.
Thank you.
Wow. Now, Ernest, it's time for us to go. But then before that, can you mention 3 businesses or, you know, industries that is a no-go area when it comes to wanting to start getting a side hustle or wanting to do any business at all?
Wow. I would say I will not mention the business name specifically in terms of sectors, but I will answer your question in terms of the input, what will go into it. I would say right now, considering the situation globally and the inflation and the cost of living generally, if you are working right now, I would say it's not advisable to go into a business that is capital intensive at the moment.
Okay.
That's because even if you try and then you go into it, the other thing is you having the equipment and then, you know, you being able to make sales is very difficult. So you invest a lot of money, but sales will take a longer time. Maybe until the whole world recovers from, you know, the present situation before you can start making money. So that's one. The second thing I would say people shouldn't go into is don't go into a space that there's too much competition right now. I would say focus on
like an industry that is saturated.
Absolutely. Like don't go there. Rather, you should focus on a space that you can differentiate yourself. Oh, it's very important. It's far better to differentiate yourself than to compete, because when you are competing, you are trying to outdo somebody else, and by virtue of that, you end up spending more resources. You know, but when you differentiate yourself, you can, you know, optimize the resources that you have, but there is a differentiating factor, so it's easier to catch the attention of people. And I believe that's something that Apple did so well. Yeah. The third thing I would say also is that don't go into a business if you don't have the money to self-finance right now. Because right now most investors are not putting money into early stage or conceptual businesses right now. Most investors are willing to put money into businesses that have matured, that have shown, you know, beyond proof of concept, that the business model, the market is responding favorably to the business, and there's an opportunity to expand and then to scale. And finally, what I want to talk about is not in relation to the question, but it's in relation to Miriam's desire to internationalize. Absolutely. At Enpact, we have started a new project called the Africa Berlin Network. And what we are doing is that we are bringing all the stakeholders in entrepreneurial ecosystems together. So we'll have individuals like Miriam, we have investors, we have policymakers. And what we do is that we create opportunities for these stakeholders to interact. So if Miriam is thinking about international expansion, are you thinking of self-financing it, or you are thinking about raising money from institutional investors or angel investors, you know, which also means that you are willing to, you know, lose some part of your business in terms of equity, you know, so that you can be able to scale. If these are the things that you are thinking about right now, I would advise that you become a member of the Africa Berlin Network, which will give you the opportunity to interact with potential investors to understand if they can be able to support you or not.
Definitely.
Yeah. You know, the moment you started talking about it, she kept on nodding, like, like, I'm already in. She's already there. But do you have, how many branches do you have?
So we currently have one branch.
Oh, one, but where is it located?
Nadenta.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Any last few words?
Okay, so what I'll say is to re-echo your words. That is, don't go into an area that is saturated with competition. Look for gaps that you can help address in terms of bringing up as a solution. It could be as a product or a service provision that you are making. And so everyone should go on board. And if you are into any side hustle, it's not wrong. It's an extra source of income to help you facilitate your short-term financial goals. And so go for it, but don't let it eat into your employer's time if you're into full-time work.
Now, earlier, Ernest, I told you before this segment started, I told you I was going to ask you a question, and so I'm going to ask you again. As a young, you know, a young business person wanting to start up a business, how can I convince an investor to trust me, to want to invest in my dream or my products?
I'll say first and foremost, build relationships with investors. Get to understand them, get to understand how they think, get to understand their perspective. That is super, super important, because when you go into a negotiation table with an investor, it has to be a win-win, because most investors are not, understand it this way. Investors come to the table with other people's money. You know, they have to be able, first and foremost, to give these people back their money plus some interest. So it's not like they have some for the Christmas, you know, bag of funds that they are throwing left and right. No. So once you get to understand why they are very strict on certain things, you come to appreciate their side of the bargain, and then you'll be able to set up your business such that you can meet their expectations. So I would say relationship is very, very important. The mistake that businesses make is that they wait till their business is in in a very dire situation before they approach investors. And even what's worse is that when they are at the negotiation table, you know, their books, you know, there are red flags in terms of their books, in terms of critical information that investors will need. They don't have them. So it's important. I can't emphasize that enough. Build relationships with investors.
Build relationships.
Yes, it's super important. Be interested in the things they are interested in.
Yeah, don't just wake up and say, I'm looking for you to invest in my business or my dream.
Absolutely.
Anyways, so Enpact.
Yes.
How are you able to, you know, help these young entrepreneurs? Tell us about it briefly.
Absolutely. At Enpact, we are inspired by people like Miriam. I know I've been referring you because you are the reason for our being.
Yeah.
So what we do is that we support businesses like Miriam's own, and so early stage, matured, growth, expansion stage businesses. And we do that with the mindset that if these businesses succeed, they will improve the local economy, and if they go international, they will improve the global economy. So we deliver this support through three main ways. It's through capacity building, that is through workshops, mentoring, and then seed funding. So during COVID, we supported 50 businesses in Ghana who have employed like hundreds of people. And if we have not intervened, like imagine these businesses that have closed, like shutting down. And so that's what we've been doing, and we've been operating in Ghana since 2017. Right. You know, and we have several businesses that we have supported in agri, in food businesses, in hospitality, in fintech, in agri-tech, a whole lot.
Okay, how can a young entrepreneur be part of this? Okay,
so you can visit Enpact.org. Enpact is ENPACT. .org, and then we have different portfolio of projects on our website, so you can read about them. The thing is, for every project, projects that we run in specific countries, so you have to check if Ghana is part of those projects, and you also have to check the eligibility requirements to see if it works for you. If you don't see any project yet, no worries. Subscribe to our newsletter, because all our projects, you know, we send them via our newsletters as well. The last thing I want to say is about the our new initiative, the Africa Belly Network. You see, the thing is, you can apply to one of our programs, you can be supported. The program ends, that's it. But the exciting thing about the Africa Belly Network is that you'll be able to stay within the network, tap into our resources free of charge. You'll be able to build relationships with institutional investors, with angel investors, with VCs all over the world, free of charge. We do not come in at all. So, for example, if Miriam becomes a member of the Africa Belly Network and then meets an investor from the IFC and they decide to have a conversation, I will not come in. It will be between Miriam and IFC. We will not intervene at all.
Okay, right. Just creating the platform
exactly
for that for that relationship. Very great. Miriam, if I want Tuozaafi, if I want Muna Tuozaafi, how can I get you?
Yes, you can reach us on our phone number 059 155 8588, and a lovely lady Sheba will respond to you. Or if you're on social media, you can contact us on Muna Tuozaafi, Facebook, Instagram.
You have a website?
Not yet.
Okay. I think you should, because of, you know, the way the packaging is very beautiful. You have very quality shots of the foods and everything on the website. Will be superb. Anyways, thank you very much, Miriam and Ernest, for coming through and then, you know, giving us tips and bits as to what to do exactly when it comes to starting up a business and the need for going into or appreciating multiple streams of income. And so today on Let's Talk Business, Women in Business, how to scale up your business, I've been speaking with Miriam Badu, who is the CEO of Muna Tuozaafi Catering, and Ernest Armah, who is the country manager of Enpact. So, ladies, gentlemen, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, guys. So please do stay tuned for so much more right here on Prime Morning. A lot of things happened over the weekend. There were lots of events that happened. And Joy Prime TV, yes, we gave you everything that you needed in relation to our Don't Praise, Ghana DJ Awards. We had Step Up, we had Big Chef, you know, so many things happened over the weekend on Joy Prime TV. So in case you missed any of that, there are going to be some conversations on that with our channel executive, Michelle Ejekum. So please go nowhere. Do stay tuned.